Hey
Hello.
guys, it's Caden. Welcome to another Autism Digest interview, where today we have another amazing individual that I'm excited to talk to. You might have heard his voice in everything from Superman to Captain America to Transformers, and I found this out while researching this person, Ace Ventura, during the animated series. He has a daughter on the autism spectrum who's doing wonderfully. He's a teacher. He is Michael Daingerfield. Thanks for coming on, Mike.
Pleasure to meet you. It's a real honor, Caden.
Uh, right about, and I think a lot of people, if they watched cartoons in the '90s, might recognize your voice and name. But for those that may not know you, do you mind starting us off by telling your story in your own words?
Yeah, so I've been doing voiceover for 30 years. I don't know how it's possible, because I still want to do another 30 because I'm only about 30 years old. No, I'm kidding. Um, but anyways, no, I've been doing, voiceover for a very long time. I was also doing on camera for about 20 years, and I gave that up about 10 years ago to just fully pursue voiceover. Definitely have a lot of good flow in voice from doing animation, lots of commercial work, narration, video games. And so, yeah, I mean, some of my favorite roles are probably Ace Ventura because that was my very first role. So I basically went from like being a stand-up comedian in university and a little after university to doing this audition that came out. She let me know that they were going to be doing an Ace Ventura cartoon. So I was like, all right. And I just started studying the voice of Jim Carrey for literally like I think it was about 2 months. I was watching the movie, I was listening to the audio, and I was just like, how can I perfect this voice so much that they basically have to pick me because I'm giving them the audio representation of the character. So I worked on it, I got the role, and it basically changed my life because it really got me into the business and allowed me to just audition for a whole bunch of other stuff and learn the business and along the way some special roles I would say are definitely like you mentioned Superman, Captain America, Han Solo on Lego Star Wars. Very special because I grew up as a Star Wars kid and saw all the movies when they came out, the episodes 4, 5, 6, and then whatever number of years later, I'm in the booth as Han Solo, and I'm working opposite Billy D. Williams and Anthony Daniels, and they weren't actually in the booth, but they were doing their work separately, but they cut it together, so I'm in the scene with them, and it was really special, right? So. Uh, I'm also a teacher. I started on the mic training, the voiceover school. We have the only diploma program in voiceover in the English speaking world, a 6 month daytime or a 1 year nighttime program, and very open to neurodiverse people as well. We've had a lot of people in the program that are neurodiverse, and we take great care of the people that come in that are neurodiverse. And because I do have a daughter who's on the spectrum, and so I started the school, and that was back in 2007. And it's been an amazing experience for me to help up and comers, come up and create a voiceover career and learn how to express themselves in a professional way. Whether it's, cartoons or video games or commercials or narration or whatever it is that you're passionate about. So between those two things, voice in the school, that keeps me busy. I have 3 children, and I try and play tennis when I can, and that's kind of the general summary there. Yeah, Kaden, but it's an honor to be on your show, by the way. Thank you for inviting me on here.
The pleasure's mine, sir, and that's a really good summary. Because look at where you're at now. My next question for you is: as you mentioned, you have a daughter on the autism spectrum. What was it like when you first got the diagnosis?
Well, so I'm going to give you the full details about my daughter. So she has a very rare condition called IDIC 15, where a small portion of her 15th chromosome duplicated to create a 47th chromosome in every cell of her body. It's called IDIC 15. And so along with that comes an autism diagnosis. Um, she has some mental and motor delay and hypotonia and some some spatial awareness issues. Um, Basically, she kind of doesn't know. She doesn't know where she is in the world in a way. Like she has a hard time being grounded spatially in the world. So she's definitely got. She's nonverbal as well. So we got the diagnosis in of her IDIC 15 in she was about 11 months old. And then the autism diagnosis came a couple of years after that. So to be very honest, we were, I know this is going to sound crazy, but we were grateful to get the diagnosis because it helped us with funding. And when you know what I mean, like where I live in BC, when you have an autism diagnosis, there's the province of BC in Canada is amazing for people that have a diagnosis with autism. So there's a lot of support for them, and we were able to get Annika a lot of help, and that was amazing for us. So, um, and then it just became about learning of how to navigate through the world with a child that not only had this, rare disease, but also the autism diagnosis. And we just thought, okay, well, what do we do here? Let's try to, do our best. Like just, you know what I mean? Like, and we loved our daughter with all of our hearts and as we do to this day. You just basically go on a different path that maybe you weren't expecting to, but it ultimately becomes really special, of course. And yeah, so we've learned a lot along the way, and I'm not gonna lie either, it's been hard. If there's any parents watching, I'm sure you can relate because it's tricky, right? There's a lot of things to consider, and then you're also really wanting to make sure that you're getting your child the best that they can. But one of the things that Annika really enjoyed doing was horse riding. So we got her involved in a horse riding program called Stars, and with two different places actually. One out in Langley, and it was called I think it was called the PRDA, and they also did a riding program. And she loved it. She would get up there and she'd be riding, and I'd be on the side, someone else on the other side, someone in the front, and she would just really feel special being up on the horse. And we did that for years and years. So just little things you learn and along the way, and like music therapy or just all these different things. Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. I was going to ask you what resources helped your daughter on her journey, but you answered that beautifully. Music therapy, horse riding, and the resources in Canada. Here in the States, the resources here are good. The problem is there are hurdles and hoops you have to jump through to get them. As an autistic individual myself, an adult at 21 years old, I've been learning that there's several hurdles you have to jump through. I'm
Really, eh?
learning about those still. It's my opinion that once you're diagnosed at, say, 2, 3 years old, you shouldn't be questioned about that as an adult ever again. Which
Yeah.
leads to my next question for you. You, you most likely have had to navigate the school system and special education system with your daughter.
Yeah.
What can the school system in Canada and the United States improve upon to ensure that anyone on the autism spectrum can have the success that they deserve in an academic setting?
It's a great question. I mean, I think again in BC, there's just really great support. I mean, Annika had an EA and has an EA with her the entire time throughout all of her, kindergarten and then up to grade 8. We say grade 8. I know you say eighth grade. I've lived in the U.S., so I know that's a different thing. But and then in high school, of course, she also had an EA, has an EA. And so there's a lot of care that goes into ensuring she has that support as well as an IEP, which I'm sure you've had, you're aware of in some capacity, independent educational plan, right, for someone who's on the spectrum so that they can learn, at their ability level and on their own path compared to the curriculum that's served up by the educational institution. And I mean, I don't know. I was, I was there at every single IEP meeting and just making sure that, I was putting in my input about what I thought Annika needed. And but in terms of the schooling, I'm not sure. Like they had special singular rooms for Annika for her to go to, that she could have quiet time, and you know they had sort of different light therapies and special toys that were I don't know, just that were activated based on touch, or that would make her sort of enjoy them a little more. You know what I mean? Like they really went out of their way to sort of give her everything she could possibly need throughout her school day, and to ensure that she was safe and learning and doing her best to enjoy her day. And she would have a little mattress in a little side room so she could take a nap and stuff like that. And so, I think the general feedback would just be for any school to make sure that you are trying to consider the heightened needs of someone with autism. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's, to me, that's the bottom line. Like I think I'm aware of it, you're aware of it. It's like people need to, who are in decision making powers or have decision making powers in schools or school boards or whatever it is, have to know that people with autism are very sensitive to light, to sound, to people, that they need all kinds of support, and that's just what they need. And so you can't really turn a blind eye to that. You can't, it's like saying to somebody who's handicapped that you're not going to build a ramp for a wheelchair. Well, we're just going to ignore that or something. Like these are the true actual needs of people with autism. So I would hope that they wouldn't turn a blind eye to any of that. And yeah, that's basically what I would say there. Yeah.
I really like what you said. And I absolutely agree. There are people that you just can't ignore in a school setting.
No,
It's really like a business not putting in a handicap ramp or not allowing service dogs or what have you.
that's right.
And way of life, that's how society works for people who need help. Well,
Yes.
we just need to stop being ignorant. So I definitely like that statement. And
Yeah.
here in the States, we call them individualized education plans. The
Yeah.
next question for you is what's your advice to any parent that just got an autism diagnosis for their child that may not know what to do?
Well, I think first off, you have to just take a deep breath, and you have to know that you're going to be okay. And I know it's scary, and because there's sort of things that you don't know. I mean, it's funny. I mean, I've raised two other children on top of my other daughter, Annika. And parenting is a lot about just, absolutely doing your best, trying to be as informed as you can be, and then apply that practically to raising your child, whether they're on the spectrum or not. So I think you have to take a deep breath and you have to go, okay, well, there's a lot of information out there in the world now about people that are on the spectrum. And so I feel like, try to access the information and then do your research. That's the thing. You're going to have to really become an ambassador for your child. And that means doing the research, getting on the computer, getting on the phone, going to meetings, going to your local support networks, and finding out exactly what is available and what's around. And then, because there's going to be a lot of needs uh, for the child, but you will do fine, and you're going to connect incredibly well with your child, and you're just going to go on this journey. And nobody knows what anyone else's journey is going to be like. Everyone's journey is different, and you know, uh, just rather than being scared, just be open and just enjoy this journey. It's your child, and I, my daughter is nonverbal. She's never said the word daddy to me or something like that, or and but I love her just as much as my other children, and I connect with her in my own way, and I know her incredibly well, um, even though she can't speak, and that's okay. And it's just it just I've learned so much about gratitude and you know how lucky we all are to be on this earth. You know, like all of us. Like we really are lucky to be here, to be experiencing and communicating and sharing and just all the things you get to do. So I would say take a deep breath, roll up your sleeves, and you know, and have an amazing experience. You know.
Yeah, I definitely know. I really like what you said about being an ambassador for sound. My parents have been ambassadors for me for the longest, and
Yes,
I'm
I bet.
incredibly grateful for them. We've had her issues, as most children have had
Yeah,
neurodivergent or not, with their parents, but they care about me enough to continue to help me out and continue being an ambassador for me, even though I'm 21. And
yeah,
if it
yeah.
wasn't for them, I honestly wouldn't be where I'm at today. So I absolutely like what you said. And my last question for you is, what does the future hold for you? Do you have any projects you're working on that you want to promote?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always doing commercial work, so always have lots of those coming out. I mean, just random one. I mean, I'm the voice of Vix. I do all kinds of different ads all the time, so you'll see those coming out. I actually have. I'm pretty proud of this one. This is really cool, and I hope you'll be seeing this airing in the States. I'm narrating a show called Underdog Inc., and it's about a guy who is a small person, and he is his name's Dale Christensen, and it's basically just his life of being sort of a literally a rough and tough back roads service guy. He goes and tows trucks, and he tows people out of difficult situations. He picks up and drops off like humongous machinery. Like he's got the coolest job anyone could ever have, and he's got a wonderful son as well that's featured in the show. And I connected with this show particularly. I've done a lot of narration over the years for different series, but I really connected with this show because I have a disabled child, and I just recognize the difficulties that Dale puts up with, you know, being a small person, and you know, he's had to have spinal surgeries, and you know, you name it. He's in pain quite a lot of the time, and he's just such a courageous, awesome guy, and it was really special for me to be able to work on that show. We've already done season one. It's airing in Canada, but it's also going to be airing in the US, and then we're also getting ready to do season two at the start of next year. So have a look out for that. And I was the voice on a Kiss video game, which is already out right now. I believe it's called Spaceman, and I was one of the main characters in that one. And it's ironic because Paul Stanley from Kiss just passed away. He was one of the main. I think it was.
Oh, Ace Ventura, actually,
Or
I
sorry,
think you're thinking
sorry, I
about.
got I got the name wrong. Sorry, yes. So it's I don't know, it was pretty cool to be a part of that, and animation, not a ton coming out as of yet right now, but those are some of the main ones that are coming out right now. Yeah.
All of those sound great. We'll be sure to be on the lookout for that series. Anyways, that's going to do it for this time, you guys. Thank you so much to Michael for coming on and sharing his story. If you guys want to see more amazing interviews, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Autism Digest channel. Be sure to get your November issue, which looks exactly like this, by going to autismdigest.com. And stay tuned for the audio file of this interview to be posted on our Spotify.
I just want to say for anyone that's interested in voiceover, or you know, because I wanted to make sure they got the link. It's on themictraining.com. So ONTHEMIC training.com. If they're interested in checking out the diploma program or any part-time stuff that we have going, be happy to help you out there.
Absolutely. You heard him. Be sure to check out On the Mic Training. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.